Hi, sisters. Welcome to another week of God's Grace for Single Mothers. Today, our topic is going to be saying no to daddy drama. Saying no to daddy drama. If you're a single mother, then obviously what that means is that you are no longer in relationship with the father of your children. And this has the ability to create some level of angst in us as mothers for so many different reasons. It's possible that the fathers are not involved in the children's lives, either by choice or for whatever reason. The dads may be dead, or they can just plain be irresponsible and choose not to participate, or they can choose to participate but participate in a way that creates a lot of angst and frustration for us as mothers. When we compare all these different scenarios, it tends to launch single mom stories into that stereotype of constant drama. And so, how do we navigate that? How do we live a life where, regardless of what the situation is with the father of your children, you are able to approximate a life of peace and abundance because of God's grace? Well, the first place that I'm going to start is this. Regardless of the kind of relationship you have with the father of your children, I would encourage you, from experience, to visit the root of their relationship and settle it as you embark on this journey of single parenting. You don't want to carry any form of anger. You don't want to carry any form of bitterness about the father of your children into your life as a single mom, because those children, you share them with that person, and there's a part of that person in your children. And so what's going to happen is, if you do not settle whatever feelings you have about this person, it's going to translate into your relationship with your kids, and it can screw it up. So if the relationship with the children's father was horrible, and the person is still in a persistent state of trying to frustrate you, you want to start seeking counseling, both therapy on the outside, but also therapy from God, to learn how to put those issues to rest. One of the first and most important ways to lay those issues to rest is coming to a place of forgiveness, which means coming to a place of not holding anything against this person. And it's easy to do this when you realize that we all have choices to make in life, and we all have the free will to make those choices. And for whatever reason, this person at this particular time has chosen to make some choices that are not necessarily the best for children. And yes, those choices have created extra burden on you, but regardless, it is still that person's choice, and that person is accountable to God. They're going to answer for their choice. So at that point, you got to let it go. And then you have to focus on making your own choice. You're going to have to sit down, and you're going to have to say to yourself, I and my children, we may have been wronged, but I have a choice about this. I have a choice about how I'm going to react, about how I'm going to respond. and then you're going to lay it to rest. And I tell you that laying that to rest, holding no grudges against this person, but settling, it empowers you in a way that drives a lot of people crazy. Because it brings you into a place of peace for your life and for your children's life. And I'm telling you, when you have peace, your life progresses a lot. This is why Jesus promises peace to us, no matter what our circumstances are. Peace is the greatest thing that we can strive for, and you cannot have peace if you're constantly tugging at people who do not want to be in your life, who do not want to do right by your children. You can't do that. So let it go. Let them go. And then you're going to start to focus on what God has for you. Because you know what? God's got your back. He's got your back. He's got your children's back. And sometimes after you have experienced the grace and support of God for your lives, you begin to thank the other person for walking away, because without that, you would have never been exposed to the riches of God's grace. So here, let's go into the scriptures and let's look at some passages that incidentally were written by men, not even women. So this to tell you that this need for a parent, a good parent in our life, is a very strong and valid human need. But it also, these verses we're going to read, they're going to show you that despite this valid human need, not all parents are able to successfully provide it for their children. Whether it's two-parent homes or single-parent homes, not all parents are able to. So what do? This is where God's grace is mightily available for us. So the first place I want us to turn to, Psalm 68 from verse 5 to 6. So this is the psalmist David, and he says, actually I'm going to read from verse 4. He says, "Sing to God, sing in praise of his name, extol him who rides on the clouds, rejoice before him. His name is the Lord, a father to the fatherless, a defender of widows is God in his holy dwelling. God sets the lonely in families. He leads out the prisoners with singing, but the rebellious live in a sun-scorched land." Right there, so much promise, so much encouragement that should give you peace about letting go, about daddy issues, no matter what they may be. Whether it's daddies who do not want to pay child support, whether it's daddies who do not want to take some time in caring for the children, and then the time is 100% on you, regardless of what it is. These verses should give you hope, because it's telling you that there is a daddy that does it all. And not only to the children, but also for the mothers who are doing it alone. And so here David says he's a father to the fatherless, but also he's a defender of widows, women who do not have their spouses or partners. I love the way it also talks about the fact that God sets the lonely in families. I've found this to be true, that even in our single parent family structures, God has a way of bringing people into our lives, sometimes temporarily, sometimes on long-term basis, that tend to fill these roles, familial roles that we and our children have from time to time. So let that give you comfort. You know that letting go doesn't mean a loss. Because again, if you don't let go, what is the benefit to you? The person has chosen not to be there, cannot be the person you need them to be. Is it therefore wise to keep on griping about that? No. The best thing is to come to terms with it and then reach for the resource that God has given, has provided, that more than takes care of that situation. The other scripture that I want us to look at here is from Psalm 27. In Psalm 27, verse 10, it says, "When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take care of me. When my mother and my father forsake me, God will take care of me." Are you listening to me, single moms? Are you hearing in these verses that there is a provision from God, our Creator, to make sure that our kids are taken care of? Can you hear that? Can you open your heart and your eyes to see all the ways that God intends to care for your children, regardless of what their fathers have done or not done? Can you hear that? And can you get some peace and hope and encouragement from that? I would encourage you too. And I'm going to leave you with these words. Some of my favorite words. I have lots and lots of favorite scripture. And I mean, what's there not to love about scripture? It exposes the heart of our God to us, His love, His immeasurable love. So here, I want to leave you with something. It's easy to think that if you had a partner or if there was a dad who was doing his part, things would be different. Your children's lives would soar high. But let me tell you, that's not the case. There are two-parent families where the children don't do well at all. It's not about our abilities so much as about God's grace, regardless whether you're a two-parent home or a single parent's home. It's about God's grace. And two-parent homes need as much grace as single mom homes. But single parent homes, we just got to know that we're starting out at a disadvantage, and we really, really need God's grace. We don't even have options of partners, with which to even get dependent upon and then take for granted that our kids are going to be okay or we're going to be okay. So you starting out from this disadvantage, and it makes more sense than for you to be aware of the resources that God has planted ever before you and your children entered the single parent circumstances. But doing this not grudgingly, not resentfully. Because when we do it resentfully, we're going to take it out on the partners. And you are doing this not even realizing that if the partners were even there, things may not have been good for our families either. And so here is one of the verses in scripture that reminds me all the time that it's not about only what we can do, but also more about God's grace extended to us, whether we can or we cannot. So here it is. It says, do you not know? Isaiah 40, 28 to 31. It says, do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow weary or tired, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Now here is what I'm wanting you to really listen to. Verse 30 and 31. Even youth grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord, they will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. This verse I have appropriated for myself as a single mom. In that passage where it talks about even youth grow tired and weary, I look around me to two-parent homes and I see the ones who, despite being two parents, it's not easy and it's not automatically successful. And so that brings a sort of realization that stop fussing about the fact that it's just you. It's okay. This is just the way you're going to do it. Don't look at yourself and say, no, I have been shortchanged by life. Because you don't know the stories of those two-parent homes, how they feel shortchanged either. The point is, no matter what you would have thought would have made a perfect family situation, may not have. And that's what I look at when I read verse 30. Even youth grow tired. So even two-parent homes, they might not make it. They say, who are those who make it? Verse 31 tells us, those who hope in the Lord, they find the resources. They are equipped by God day after day to make it, to soar despite their situations, despite their limitations. Our constant hoping on God, trusting in God, following His ways. That is where we find the strength. That is where we get equipped. That is where we get empowered. That is where we get all the resources we need to do it. It's not so much in that father figure that is absent, or chooses not to be absent, or chooses to make your life hell. I want to leave you with a word of encouragement today. Are you struggling with any of your baby daddies, absent or not absent? I want you to take some time and pray for him. Take some time to forgive him any way he has hurt you and your children. And then pray for wisdom, how to move on in spite of that. And hey, you're going to find out that it gets better for you and your kids. And that daddy issue is no longer going to be a drama trigger in your life. May the peace of God be with you and your family today. Thanks for listening. I'll be with you again next week. God bless you. And please share this with your single mom families. Thanks. God bless you.